You know that feeling, right? That constant pressure to be always on social media.
Yeah,
It can feel less like connecting and maybe more like just another chore.
definitely feels like that sometimes.
But what if just hitting post randomly isn't actually, getting you anywhere?
Right.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really zeroing in on something crucial: how to craft a social media content plan that actually, well, works, that drives real results.
Mm-hmm.
We've dug through the strategies, the ones that seem to stick, and we're here to share the key insights. Now, quick mention: if you are looking to maybe speed things up, give your profiles a bit of a kickstart, you could check out rapidboost.net.
Okay.
But for our deep dive today, let's focus on getting strategic because
Yeah.
honestly, in this super crowded online space, a smart plan, that's your ticket to actually cutting through the noise and making an impact.
That's absolutely spot on. That whole scattergun approach, just throwing stuff out there,
Yeah.
it's rarely effective anymore.
Right.
What we consistently see is, without a clear strategy, you hit several roadblocks.
Like what?
Well, think about it. Posting irregularly. Your audience is left guessing. You're kind of just hoping something resonates.
Posting and praying, basically.
Exactly. Plus, the algorithms themselves, they tend to reward regular, valuable content. And ultimately, your followers, they want something worthwhile, not just random updates clogging their feed.
Okay, so yeah, ditching the post and pray method seems like a must, but this power of planning with purpose that kept coming up in the research, and what does that actually look like? How does it work?
Yeah, what's really interesting there is the shift. It's moving from just reacting, posting on the fly, to really proactively shaping your presence online.
Shaping it.
Yeah. A strategic plan makes sure your social media efforts aren't just these isolated little tasks. They actually tie back to your bigger business goals.
Okay.
This kind of planning lets you map out whole campaigns, get ready for key industry moments or events, and, crucially, focus on reaching your audience when they're actually listening, when they're most active. It's all about being intentional.
It seems like thinking ahead like that, planning it out, might actually save you time in the long run and get better results.
Exactly. It feels counterintuitive, but yes.
Yeah,
We saw mentions of brands like Wendy's and Gymshark.
right. What makes their planning so effective? What are they doing?
They're fantastic examples, really. They show how well-planned content can sometimes go viral, sure, but more importantly, how it sparks real engagement and helps build a proper community.
Mm.
They don't just post stuff. They strategically craft content that hits home with their specific audience and lines up with their marketing goals. Wendy's, for instance, they're known for those witty, super timely responses, right?
Yeah.
And planned campaigns around holidays or even competitor moves. It shows they have a structure, but they're also agile within it.
And this isn't just anecdotal, is it? There's actual data supporting this planning approach.
Oh, absolutely. If
Mm.
you look at the numbers, Sprout Social did research in 2023. They found brands with a documented, written-down strategy saw 51% higher audience growth.
51%. Wow.
Yeah, compared to those without one, that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
It really drives home that a solid plan isn't just like a nice to have, it's a serious growth engine.
Okay.
And plus, being strategic means you can use analytics, use the data to keep tweaking your approach.
Yeah.
That gives you a massive edge over competitors who are just guessing, throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Right. You're actively shaping what works instead of just stumbling upon it. Okay. So step one then in building this killer content plan, setting goals. But not just any goals, they have to be smart goals. Can you break that down?
Absolutely. Yeah, before you even think about what to post, you need crystal clarity on what success actually looks like for you on social.
Right.
What are you trying to achieve? Is it brand awareness, getting people to your website,
Yeah.
generating leads, building a community?
Could be any of those or a mix.
Exactly. And the SMART framework that's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, it gives you a structure. It helps you set goals that aren't just vague wishes, but things you can actually track and work towards.
Can you give us a really concrete example, like the follower count one from the sources?
Sure. So instead of just saying, I want more followers, which is pretty vague.
Yeah, everyone wants that.
Right. A SMART goal would sound more like increase our Instagram follower count by 20% over the next 3 months. That's the specific, measurable, achievable, time-bound part.
Okay.
And then the relevant part is how. By consistently sharing educational carousel posts 3 times a week and running one targeted giveaway contest each month. See how much clearer that is. It's a roadmap.
Definitely much clearer. And it makes sense, too, that you tailor your goals to the platform. Like LinkedIn isn't TikTok.
Precisely.
Yeah.
That's a really important point. Are your goals aligned with what each platform is actually good at? LinkedIn is great for B2B, industry insights, that kind of thing.
Right, professional stuff.
TikTok thrives on short, punchy, entertaining video. Twitter, or X, is more for real-time updates, joining conversations. Matching goals to the platform's strengths just makes sense. It boosts your chances of success.
Okay, so we set these SMART goals. How do we actually track if we're hitting them? That's where the KPIs come in, key performance indicator.
Exactly. KPIs are crucial. Each SMART goal needs specific KPIs linked to it. So if your goal is boosting engagement,
Likes, comments, shares.
yep, likes, comments, shares, saves, those are your engagement KPIs. If it's driving website traffic, you're tracking click-through rates from your posts.
Okay.
If it's conversions, maybe it's signups for a newsletter or actual purchases traced back to social media. These measurable markers are vital. They let you see what's working, make adjustments, and importantly, show the actual value, the ROI of what you're doing.
Got it. So we know what we want to achieve. Next step is figuring out who we're talking to. Step 2, knowing your audience, like really knowing them. How deep do we need to go?
What's really insightful here is thinking about buyer personas not just as something you create once, but something you test and refine. You got to go beyond just the basic demographics, age, gender, location. You need to dig into their interests, their challenges, their pain points, what actually motivates them.
What keeps them up at night, as they say.
Exactly. Understanding those deeper things, that directly shapes the content you create, the language you use. And you can use tools for the surveys, talking to actual customers, looking at Facebook audience insights or Google Analytics data. They all give you clues.
So it's not just who they are, but also what they actually want to see from you, the type of content.
Absolutely. Different people like different things, right?
Yeah.
Some audiences love that raw behind-the-scenes video. Others just want quick, actionable tips. Maybe some prefer funny memes or beautiful infographics.
So you need to figure out what your audience responds to.
Yes. You need to track which formats, which topics get the most traction, the likes, the comments, the shares from your specific audience. Then you lean into those. You prioritize what they clearly enjoy.
And it sounds like it shouldn't just be us talking at them. We need to actually engage, right?
Precisely. Don't just broadcast. You need to be part of the conversation. Respond to comments, answer DMs, run polls, do Q&As, maybe even join some niche groups where your audience hangs out online. And keep an eye on what's trending in your industry, what people are talking about generally. That active engagement keeps your content relevant, timely, and helps you build real connections. It shows you're listening.
Okay, goal set, audience understood. Step 3 involves looking back, doesn't it? Auditing what we've already done and also checking out the competition. Why is that important?
That's a really smart move, yeah. Looking back at your own content, say, the last 6 months with a critical eye is super valuable.
What are we looking for?
You're analyzing what worked well. Which topics really resonated? Which visuals got the most attention? Were certain posting times better than others? Look for patterns.
And what didn't work?
Exactly. And why didn't it work? Was the call to action maybe a bit weak? Was the topic just off-brand or not interesting to your audience? Learning from those misses is just as important as understanding the hits. It helps you avoid making the same mistakes.
And then we kind of peek over the fence at what competitors are up to.
Definitely. Competitor analysis isn't about copying, it's about learning. See what themes or formats seem to be working consistently in your space. How do they interact with their followers? What hashtags are they using that seem effective?
Are there tools for that?
Yeah, there are tools like BoSumo or Social Blade. Plus, just using the analytics within the platforms themselves, you could see top-performing posts for specific accounts or based on keywords. It gives you a sense of the landscape.
There was that interesting mini case study mentioned about the Austin coffee shop latte art videos.
Yes, that's a perfect illustration. This coffee shop noticed a competitor was getting huge engagement with short videos showing how they make latte art. So they adapted. They started doing their own short video tutorials on latte art. And guess what? They saw a big jump in their own engagement and followers. It's about spotting what resonates in your niche and finding your own way to tap into it.
So it's not just copying, like you said. It's about finding those gaps, maybe things others aren't doing.
Precisely. A good audit isn't just about seeing what's popular. It's also about finding the unmet needs. Are there common customer questions that nobody in your industry is really answering well? Are there trending hashtags you could be using? Are there formats nobody's really leveraging effectively, like maybe Instagram Reels quizzes or detailed LinkedIn articles? Those gaps, those are your opportunities to stand out.
Okay, makes sense. Goals, audience, audit done. Now, step 4 feels a bit more concrete, mapping out the content calendar.
Hmm.
That sounds potentially overwhelming. How do we start?
Think of it like building a framework. The key is to start with content pillars. These are your main themes, the big topics relevant to your audience that also support your goals.
Like the fitness brand example.
Exactly. For them, pillars might be workout tips, nutrition advice, maybe client success stories, and perhaps something lighter, like humor or behind-the-scenes stuff. Having these 3 to 5 pillars ensures variety, but also keeps you focused.
And then from those pillars, we can create regular features, like a Motivation Monday or something.
Yes, developing recurring series like that is great. It builds anticipation. Your audience starts to expect certain types of content on certain days. It builds loyalty, and honestly, makes planning easier for you too.
Okay, so we're not just winging it daily. We're planning this out, maybe using a digital tool.
Absolutely recommend it. Use a digital calendar, a spreadsheet, or a project management tool like Trello, Asana, or even specific social media planners like ContentCal or Buffer.
What do these tools help with?
They let you visualize everything. Map out your posts across days, weeks, months, slot in your big campaigns first, then fill in the gaps with your regular pillar content and series posts. It keeps everything organized and on track.
But social media moves fast. What about jumping on trends or unexpected things? Do we need to leave room for spontaneity?
Oh, absolutely critical point. Planning gives you structure, yes. But the best plans have flexibility baked in. You need room to react.
React to what?
Trending topics, sometimes called newsjacking, where you cleverly tie your content to current events. Viral challenges that fit your brand. Amazing user-generated content that someone shares. Being agile enough to jump on those timely opportunities can give you a massive boost.
Right, you don't want to be so rigid you miss out. And it's not just what we post, but how, right? Mixing up the formats.
Definitely. Keep things fresh. Don't just post photos all the time. Mix it up. Use carousels to tell a story or share steps. Videos are huge, especially short form. Go live for real-time Q&As. Use stories for quick updates. Run polls. Share infographics. Maybe even dip into audio.
So maybe plan for like a quarterly Facebook Live or a monthly TikTok challenge.
Exactly. Building in that variety keeps different segments of your audience engaged and caters to how people like to consume content differently.
Okay, the plan is mapped out. Step 5. Actually crafting and scheduling this irresistible content. Now the work really starts.
This is where the creativity happens, yeah. First off, captions and calls to action, or CTAs, they need to be good.
How do we make them good?
Your caption needs a hook right at the start. Maybe an intriguing question, a bold statement, a surprising fact, something to stop the scroll, and then be super clear about what you want people to do. Ask them to comment, share, save the post, click the link, guide them.
Makes sense. And visually, it has to look good too, doesn't it? Especially on platforms like Instagram.
Oh, hugely important. Social media is incredibly visual. High-quality images are a must. Try to maintain a consistent look and feel, maybe use similar colors, filters, or templates.
Are there tools for that?
Yeah, tools like Canva or Adobe Express are fantastic for creating professional-looking graphics, even if you're not a designer. And don't underestimate the power of well-edited, authentic-feeling short videos. They're really connecting with people right now.
Okay, so we're creating all this awesome content. How do we manage posting it consistently without being glued to our phones 24/7?
That's where automation tools are your friend. Platforms like Buffer, Hootsuite, later they let you schedule posts in advance.
So you can batch create and then schedule it out.
Exactly. It ensures consistency.
Yeah.
But, and this is but automation doesn't mean you check out. You still need to be human. Jump in, respond to comments, answer messages, engage in real time. Scheduling buys you time. It doesn't replace engagement.
Right, and even with scheduling, timing still matters. Posting when people are actually online.
Timing is still definitely crucial. You need to dive into your analytics for each platform, see when your specific audience is most active, most engaged.
So it might be different for LinkedIn versus Instagram.
For sure. A B2B company might find Tuesday mornings are prime time on LinkedIn. A beauty influencer might see way more action on Instagram over the weekend. Scheduling your posts for those peak times just gives them a better chance of being seen.
Okay, planned, created, scheduled. Now for the moment of truth, I guess. Step 6. Monitor, measure, learn, optimize. This sounds like it never really stops.
That's exactly right. It's an ongoing cycle. You have to regularly track your performance. Look at those KPIs you set back in step 1 for every post, every campaign.
Like engagement rate, clicks.
Engagement rate, reach, clicks, conversions, follower growth, whatever aligns with your goals. And really focus on the metrics that drive business results, not just vanity metrics like maybe raw like counts if they don't lead anywhere. Use the built-in analytics tools on each platform.
So it's definitely not a set it and forget it deal. We need to be tweaking things based on the data.
Absolutely. Success comes from experimenting. Try different post times. Play with different hashtag combinations. Test video lengths. Maybe run some A/B tests. Try 2 different headlines for the same link. See which performs better.
And then learn from that.
Yes. Analyze the results. See what works, what doesn't, and refine your strategy accordingly. Be willing to iterate.
And I guess celebrate the wins when things go right, but also be ready to change course if something's clearly not working.
Exactly that. Share the successes. It proves the value of your efforts. But just as importantly, be honest when a tactic or content type is falling flat. Don't be afraid to pivot. The social media world changes so fast, you have to be adaptable.
There was another case study mentioned, the health tech startup, how they shifted their content.
Yeah, that was a great example of this monitoring and adapting principle.
Yeah.
They started with these long technical posts that just weren't getting much traction.
Okay.
But they noticed short videos were popular and people wanted quick health info. So they switched to making short reels busting common health myths.
And what happened?
The results were pretty dramatic. A 30% jump in followers and a 17% increase in website referrals.
Yeah.
Just by listening to the data and being willing to change their approach.
Wow, okay. That really shows the power of optimizing. We've covered so much ground here. To make it super practical, what are, say, a few key actionable steps listeners can take, like today or this week?
Okay, let's boil it down. Based on everything, here are some immediate steps. First, define maybe 1 to 3 really clear, measurable social goals for the next quarter. What do you want to achieve?
Okay, 1 to 3 SMART goals.
Second, spend some time actually building or just updating your buyer personas. Use surveys, look at your analytics, maybe even just ask your audience directly what they want to see.
Got it. Know your audience.
Third, do that content audit. Look back at the last 6 months of posts, what worked, what didn't, where are the gaps, and check out at least 3 competitors, what are their top posts.
Audit and research. What's next?
Fourth, choose your 3 to 5 core content pillars. Brainstorm post ideas for each. Then try mapping out maybe the next month of content using a simple calendar or scheduling tool.
Plan it out. Pillars and calendar.
Fifth, block out some time each week just for creating content. Write captions, design visuals, use templates if it helps, but keep it feeling authentic.
Patch creation time.
Sixth, start using a scheduler to automate posting. But, and this is key, commit to spending maybe 15 minutes every day actually engaging with comments and messages. Be present.
Schedule but engage. Last one.
And finally, seventh, schedule a monthly check-in. Look at your analytics. Review what happened. Make adjustments to your plan based on the actual data. It's that learning loop.
That's a fantastic, really practical list. Thank you. So pulling it all together, it really feels like building a great social media presence isn't just about being loud or visible, is it?
Not at all. It's about intention, insight, creativity. It really boils down to aligning your goals with what your audience actually needs and wants.
Right. Planning purposeful content that gives them real value.
Exactly. And staying flexible.
Yeah.
Being ready to adapt as things change, because they always do online.
And recognizing it's a cycle, right? Plan, execute, measure, refine, repeat. It's not a one-off task.
Precisely. Think of your content plan like a living thing. It needs to evolve. Don't get overwhelmed trying to do everything perfectly right away. Start small, commit to learning as you go. Keep it manageable.
Okay, so here's a final thought to leave everyone with. Just imagine, what if you consistently applied these strategic steps? How could that shift your social media from maybe feeling like a chore into becoming a really powerful engine for your growth and for connecting with people? So what's just one small step, one thing you can do today to start moving towards that more strategic approach?